Double the cup, I'm pouring that shit. I'm fucking it up, it's pornographic. She can't afford the plastic, she push it up. If she wonder about my past, she can look it up. I got a big network, but it's not Google. Got a small net worth, watch you quadruple. My father taught me a lot, that's how I got frugal. Spend $1 and you got a lot of ramen noodles. It's loopholes in this game that you better learn. Get up early when it rains and you get a worm. Throwing dirt on my name is throwing gas on a flame. Just let it burn till it turn to ash, then get a urn. I never been concerned with the afterlife. You acting like buying ghosts, bring you back to life. Illuminati, I'm the goat they wanna sacrifice. They say you only live once, but this happened twice. I think it's deja vu, yeah. It could be deja vu, yeah. Some people pray I lose, they don't like the way I talk, the way I move, yeah. I think it's deja vu, yeah. It could be deja vu, yeah. Some people hate on you, but good thing you not them and they not you. I got 15 minutes till the edibles kick in. I'ma get fried like the General's chicken, finger licking, I'm wing picking. I'll take 6 ring pippin', the team clicking. I got a new game plan, a new strategy. I keep going like the rabbit with the batteries. I'm with a baddie and she grabbing my anatomy. I split the check and had to leave, now she mad at me. I've been there, I've done that. Fun fact, I'm putting numbers on the board like a thumbtack. Cal coming back like cowboy running backs. Ooh, I need a couple hundred stacks. If you could do the math, that's a couple M's. Pockets fat like twins who got double chins. Big plates, they should probably hit the fucking gym. Nobody shaming, that's just what it is. I think it's deja vu, yeah. It could be deja vu, yeah. Some people pray I lose, they don't like the way I talk, the way I move, yeah. I think it's deja vu, yeah. It could be deja vu, yeah. Some people hate on you, but good thing you not them and they not you. Deja vu, it's feeling like deja vu. It's feeling like deja vu. It's feeling like deja vu, yeah. Deja vu, it's feeling like deja vu. It's feeling like deja vu. It's feeling like deja vu.
Hello. 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 Hi, everybody. I have a very good episode for you today. An episode of the Bear Stream. Hey there, BB. Hey, everybody. Dogs are good for kids also. Yeah, they are, obviously. Today is called episode 780, Truth Drop from Stalin. The bike thieves get it. And good counsel from my wife. Okay, so, are we live? Everything good? Hello, you beautiful bears. Yeah, so I was emailing back and forth with a bear from, who has family, I believe, in Italy, or something going on in Italy. And it's the same thing I hear over and over again everywhere in the world. How, hospitals are overrun and all this stuff. And I always ask the same thing. Can anyone name a victim? Oh, I know someone who's been had it. Can anyone name anyone who's died? And this brings me to a very, very truthful thing that Stalin once said. Stalin may not be what we think he was. He said, 1 death is a tragedy. 1 million deaths is a statistic. And a lot of people thought, myself included, thought that was a very cold thing to say. That to say that means that you see 1 million deaths, not as 1 million tragedies, but nothing, just bean counting. What I believe Stalin was trying to say was that if you know the name of someone who's died, that is a tragedy. If you hear a number, it's a statistic. A statistic has a weird vibe of not being real. And I'm not saying that this isn't real. Bear in mind, this is just me pontificating. I don't know, and none of us do. But what I do know is I know thousands and thousands and thousands of people all over the world, and not 800 dead in one day in Italy, but only in it. Guys, 800 is a statistic. Tell me one name. Stalin told us how to deal with this type of situation. I have a relative in Denver in the ICU, 60-something years old. Okay, tell me about their life. Why are they in the ICU? I'm not going to do this today because it's not productive. I have a lot of ways to make you laugh, but I'm just trying to... my family has it like a cold flu, worse on our kids than us. Yeah, I mean, it could be a very bad cold and flu season. It could be a bioweapon from Gates. I actually have something really funny to show you. None of us know, and if you think you know, I don't trust you at all. What I do know is not one person can name a single... I know people that have tested positive for coronavirus or COVID-19. I don't know a single person in the world who knows anyone who's ever died of this. They know people who have died in this time of many, many other things. Suicide, despair, heart disease, which comes from despair, cancer, which comes from stress. Dehumanizing with numbers. Right, and do you guys know how many people Stalin allegedly killed? 66 million. Do you know how many people Hitler allegedly killed? 6 million. Do you know how PM Scott Morrison announces 66 billion coronavirus package part 1? I don't know if these people are in control of this, but I'm starting to see a pattern. That when you see a bunch of sixes, it's not a tragedy, it is a statistic. And again, I'm floating ideas out there. Don't get mad at me. This is what I've done all the time, the whole time. Is COVID-19 made in China? I have no idea, and neither do you, Army N. All we know is that nobody can name a single person who's died directly, not someone who died from the cold because they were already sick. From what I gather, and I don't know the origin of COVID-19 or what exactly it is, it seems to be a bit of a nastier type of cold. That's up. Scott Morrison is a deranged F-head. I'm trying to just not swear when I don't have to. But when Stalin said, because do you know how many people the grab wars in Russia claim Stalin killed? 1.5 billion. Can't make this up. My Russian correspondent will do another piece on it. The grab war media in Russia claims that Stalin killed 1.5 billion. We hear that it's 66 million, and Hitler 6 million. Okay, if you name, I can name people who have died from despair, from poverty, from cancer, from gunshot wounds to their head, that they've done by themselves. No one can name one. And that, I'm not saying to not see this as a pandemic, because it is of some sort. I don't know what sort, but it doesn't matter. What's going to happen is going to happen. It's out of our control. Statistic means Talmudic reasoning. Exactly. Stalin was trying to tell us about the grab war. When they say 800, the reason I believe 22 vet suicides a day is because I knew 2. So you can roll out those stats. If you don't know anyone, it's still a statistic. It could be true. It could not be true. You don't know. But what you do know is that this has now been going on for over a month, and not one person in this global community can name one name. You can name people. Some people know people that have been tested positive for the coronavirus, whatever the F that means. And I'm not saying not to enjoy this time, because this is a point I want to make about this. My wife gave me some counsel last night, which is the purpose of wives, one of the many purposes of wives. She was saying for me not to gloat too much, like not to have too much fun with this, because last night's stream I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Everything that poisons the youth is closing. The borders are closing. I finally think the grab was dead. And she's like, people are out of work. People are scared. And I'm like, I know, baby, I know. And she's like, people are stressed. If you show too much joy, it could appear gloating. And I'm like, but I'm not gloating. So I want to explain this better, because she has a point, but I also just want people to understand why I'm so pumped. It's almost like a Navy SEAL getting real excited to watch the young recruits having to be put through the hell because they know it'll make them stronger for what they're going to have to do. And they had to go through it, and they know how necessary it was. I've already went through the economic collapse. It happened to me over 3 years ago when Hollywood pulled the plug on me because I was opposed to transgender children. I was in credit card debt. I didn't have another job. I started selling. I was rewriting the Logos version of children's book, like the trading tree versus the giving tree, against the Federal Reserve. Amy was selling clothes. I started doing physical labor again with my brother, doing tree work. I went through the shit. And I came out the other side a much stronger, better person. So when I see people going through the shit, I know your businesses make clothes. I know you're scared. I know you don't know what the future brings or where. I get it. I've been there. And sometimes I can jump over my life. And if someone just kind of sees what I'm saying, they're just like, don't have too much fun with this. There's people that don't know if they have a job. I'm like, but they're going to be better off. This is the only way through it. I've been through this. And you can say, oh, must be nice. You can rewrite children's books with logos and your wife can sell clothes on. Dude, everyone has a skill set with value. Everyone alive. Whether it's manual labor, whether it's you start servicing your neighbors with whatever skill you have, plumbing, food. Dude, everybody has a path out of this. Everyone. So when I'm like just going, yes, coronavirus is the greatest thing that ever happened. Dude, I love all this. Dude, guys, look at this real quick. Hang on. But I'm not being cold. All right, look at that. That's Ellen DeGenerate right now. Mess. Spiraling. Guys, these systems have held us like this. Give me your babies. And it's falling. I outlasted all comedy clubs. BB is so lucky that he got those smart lawnmowers. Exactly. And you can be too. This is not the end. See, this is why it can appear I'm gloating when I'm really not. It can appear I'm being selfish when I'm really not. Most people get it. Most people in this community are sharing my joy. But you have to understand that no matter how scared you are right now, you may lose your job. You are in debt. I've been there. Guys, this is the wake-up call. This is the fever that breaks your illnesses, your sicknesses. And you don't know it yet, but I'm time traveling to you from the future. You will. Everything that's breaking right now is diseased. And so your blood is going to go back to the core. It's just like hypothermia. You're going to lose some legs and some arms. Fact. It's not a perfect analogy because you want to keep your legs and your arms. Your blood is going to go back to your core. Keep your core warm. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, the core that you can see is working fine is the American Post Office. It still operates under the Constitution, not Admiralty law. Okay? From there, that's core America. That's what we get. We get the Pony Express. We get land rights. We get all the grabble out there. You shouldn't be that connected to it. I know people that are closing their businesses for this, even though they know. I'm like, just keep it open then. These are all suggestions from the government. They don't have the power to tell you can't have your business open. Check the Constitution. He's like, some of my buddies are like, yeah, but it'll be a bad look for my clientele, It's like, people would think that I was being, and I'm like, oh, so this really is a test of the whole structure. Are your people in light or in darkness? I don't really like the whole light-dark thing because it can border on new agey stuff. But right now, what's happening is there's two worlds can exist simultaneously. You can go more towards darkness or more towards light, right? And so it's not a zero-sum game. It's not like, oh, if we don't wake everyone up, everyone's going to die. Two worlds can exist simultaneously on the same plane of existence, okay? As they're easing people into like this vaccine chip or whatever nonsense they want, you don't have to comply to it ever. Just know that. As they're easing people into that, people like me are easing people out of it. And it's not zero-sum. It exists like this, simultaneously on the same plane. People can be pulled more into darkness or more into light, depending, like more self-sustaining, more value-based wealth, not debt-based wealth, yada, yada, yada. That's watched the Batman stream, BB. That was epic. Oh, thank you very much. So this is why I appear so joyful and happy. It's not because I'm not aware of a lot of suffering. It's because I know it's good. And this will make people either get more on their knees and take more inches of the devil's penis inside of them, or they will realize what value is, what family is, what faith is, more. And there's sometimes you have to, one of my buddies said, I knew you were on the path when I just saw a guy drinking White Claw, picking the prickles out of his skin, wondering what the hell just happened to him. You know, like when I was rock bottom, when a lot of the Unbearables first joined me, I was more stressed than you are right now, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, more, because I was more alone. There wasn't very many people experiencing what I was experiencing. And so a lot of people who'd been through it gravitated towards me and gave me life preservers and gave me knowledge and gave me peace. Helped me along the way, you know? And right now, so many people are going through it at the same time that there's actually comfort in that I didn't get. But it doesn't matter, because it's fine. Has Wrangler Star bought a bit too much into fear? No, I don't know. I haven't been watching his videos, but you have to understand, like, as long as it's not hurting you and your family, it's like there could be. Guys, I don't think viruses exist as described. I think it's a body's response to toxins. They could. I haven't done clinical studies. This is what my common sense and logic tells me. I'm not going to tell you that. He could be right. The thing to watch out for is someone's vibration grateful, joyous? Are they still laughing? Do they still love their family? Do they still shout out God? That's what you watch for. What this is doesn't really matter. Death isn't the end. Time's up for evil, not us. I disagree a little bit, KO Bear. I think that evil will get more evil from this, but more people have woken up from this and see what really matters and can go towards, like, be a shepherd for the good. You know, family, faith, actual wealth that is real, not debt, not keeping people as debt slaves, stuff like that. You understand? It's laws coming into place as a response to the so-called virus. You're missing the whole point. You're in a timeout. You're in a timeout. Laws from who? God or man? You're in a timeout. It's exhausting sometimes, but that's why I'm here. I'm here for you guys. It's like, oh, the law's in place. You have to have people to act out the laws. Do you know how laws work? Do you know how laws work, how enforcement agencies work? Do you know how many laws they have that they can't? They can't even enforce robberies now. You need to have men with families enforce these laws. And thankfully, those people, that's why, do you understand the Holocaust spell? Do you know who it hurts? The Jew, not us. That's why they don't want people like us pointing out stuff like wooden doors and gas chambers. Because the Jew has to be in a state so scared and so paranoid and so fearful that they can inflict these type of horrors on the outside world because they think that at any point we're going to turn them into a lampshade, right? The Holocaust is a mental trap for the Jew, not us. It took me a while to learn this. Obey God's law, deal with Caesar's law. Weigh it out. They can tell you to close your business. Okay, figure it out. What's good for you and your family? Remember, order should be maintained. Don't be an animal. Don't make people feel scared. But it's all a suggestion. All of it's a suggestion. They can't enforce anything that you don't comply to. But just understand that you deal with Caesar's law. You figure it out. You figure out the best way to be in the world but not of it. Obey God's law. Obey it. Deal with Caesar's law. You know, if it says drive 60, go 69. That you can go a little faster, but after that, it gets a little dicey. If your clientele is fine with you keeping your business open, keep it open. We're not communists, guys. They can't tell you to close down all your businesses. Your business is not owned by the state. But if you know your people, if you know the waves it would create, just weigh it out. The laws of Caesar do not matter, but you should keep order. And I hope you guys really do understand that because, you know, you realize, you know, what they can actually do. They're just telling you. They're suggesting that you destroy your own economy so that the grabblers can buy stuff. That's all it is. Guys, they don't care if you live or die when it comes to this type of level. Be helpful, be useful, and live in logos. Yeah, exactly. And if one of the laws of Caesar's goes against the law of God, you can break the law of Caesar. But just do it in a very relaxed way. Like, do it in a way where you know a cop and understand. Don't be, like, scary. Don't be like, I'm gonna rub my spit on your face. No. I know my line. You wanna know my line? I've established my line, and I have my protocol all set. Skin barrier. I will never take a chip or vaccine, ever. If they want to switch up currency, if they want to play their grabbly games, our current currency is already based on lies. I'm not on a high horse, guys. If they want to switch up currency, they want to switch up power, they want to make it harder or easier for people in different businesses, that's all they do. That's the nature of government. This barrier right here, my epidermis, that will not be broken by Caesar. I would die before that is enforced on me. That's it, though. Other than that, they can play their little reindeer games. You know? If I was a business owner, I would weigh it out. I would say, well, you know, because that's not like pedophilia. It's not like trans children stuff. But that was a line I held. You can't do that to kids. They can't consent. And I held that line. I was willing to die for it. I was willing to burn everything I had for that. This is my line now. My line is skin barrier. Think about all this shit before, and that way you're very relaxed. All their little games are games. You know? I've already complied to some of their absurd gun laws. You know, the 10-day waiting period for semi-automatics and all that. I've filled out the forms. I've waited. Even though it's ridiculous. But I wanted certain guns, and those were the laws, and I wasn't willing to do absurd, like, to create civil unrest. To get my gun earlier. Dude, all these laws you just deal with. But think about what is the hill to die on. As a comedian, the hill to die on is you can't censor my words based on nonsense. As a human, when it comes to consent, you can't do anything to children. You know, those are the line. And my line for any tyranny is my skin, my family's skin. And that's it. Oh yeah, and swab. Yeah, they can't take my genetic material, and they can't break my skin. Other than that, guys, I already have one kind of mark of the beast. I almost just said my social security number. I'm such a fucking idiot. I almost was like, I am bam 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 bam. Yeah, don't let them swab up your nose or poke. Yeah, it's about your body. That's when it ends.
It's time to pay the money.
And figure this out early. I already know protocol for if people take my neighbors. Odds of it happening, almost zero. They're not even taking murderers. The issue isn't more enforcement, it's less. My protocol is I have trusted people that I can count on. I text them, call them, let them know, and then I just follow them. I follow whoever takes the neighbor. And I make sure as many people know as possible, and I just keep following them. And I just keep updating people. If for some reason telecommunication is out, I knock on a few doors and I follow. And I at that point I do a lot of honking. I bring attention to the car. You know, if enough people know, I follow them the whole way. It's not bring out a gun and shoot. I don't see this is the situation. These were the things you got to think about way early. I've been thinking about this shit for years. If you just shoot someone dressed as a cop who's taking your neighbor, you may have just murdered a cop. Your neighbor may have been involved in some shit you didn't know about. But you can always follow an alert. You understand? Think about this shit. Think about your protocols. When people are like, if someone takes my neighbor, I'll shoot the cop. What if your neighbor was like part of something you don't know about? You don't know that. You don't just shoot a cop. Follow an alert. My neighbor sucked and you should leave, Joanne. All right. It's our temple, our body. Right, that's why these are called temples. Yeah, we're seeing less enforcement, not more. Exactly. And I know all of this is good, but if I come across as too joyous and it appears like I'm gloating, I promise I'm not. I am an experienced Navy SEAL of culture war who's watching people forced into boot camp, and I know that it's good for them. It's like, oh, why would you let them almost drown? I'm like, because if not, they'll be scared of it and they'll die when they have to do what they have to do. That's why. Understand what debt is. Understand God's law versus Caesar's law. Understand what really matters. What's mind control. Understand what Disney is. Understand all that. My neighbor's a cop. Yeah, I got tons of neighbors with cops. Great. And I've made a series of great decisions for all this, but you can start now. Don't listen to end of the world retards. Don't shoot a cop unless they're unlawfully trying to shoot you. Right. Exactly. And at that point, they're almost certainly not cops. That's not the nature of cops. Cops keep order. They usually fill out reports after someone's been murdered. Cops are still active in LA? Right, because of it's the honeycomb nature. Cops are allies. Yes, cops are 95% allies. 5% gammas, and those guys, don't even worry about it. I reached out to my local militia and got them on the spot. Offer for a bug out spot. Texmo is legit. Dude, this is the time to get to know your neighbors. This is the time to grow. And I'm listening to my wife's counsel, and I'm really going to explain myself that I'm not gloating in the face of your pain. I've been through your pain. I know it will do nothing right now to have a bunch of feminized men going, oh, it's so scary. Oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, what are you going to do without your pumpy disco? That doesn't help. You want to know what helps? Seeing the good in it. Seeing how you can climb out of it. Seeing how this is the best thing that ever happened to you and you don't even know it yet. That's a fact. I know that, and a lot of people don't know that. A Boston cop has corona. We're all going to die. Right. And here's another thing. I don't know what corona is. I don't know if there really is a thing. All I've seen are statistics. I've never seen a tragedy. Show me a tragedy and I'll listen. If you show me statistics, I'll heed the words of the very wise Joseph Stalin, who said, one death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. When you understand that they claim Adolfo Hilario killed 6 million and Stalin killed 66 million, you start understanding what he's trying to tell you. Bug out location in Mexico. You won't need it there, but that's good. All of this is good for. It's all good. Most police I know don't want you guys running when paperwork sucks. Exactly. The hatred of cops is one of the biggest spell problems. It's a terrible spell. Those are your brothers. Oh, heck yeah, anyway, I was on the way back. Shut up. I'm showing this the governor ordered. Yeah, I have news from LA. This is a famous person. I'm just. Anyway, to get the last helicopter out of Saigon, I left my. She did not want to leave, and I'm trying to do that. I'll just do this. I'll read this out. All right. Anyway, let's do some laughter. BB, you're breaking the spell and being grateful and spiraling up while most are spiraling down. Right. It's two things simultaneously in the same plane. This is not a zero-sum game. Don't listen to these psychopaths. Oh, it's fever camps. Yeah, that could happen to some people, or not. It's up to you. I know my guns come out situation. And even then, I know there's much better ways of doing it than guns. I'm learning about Admiralty law and all this. Give another offer. It's my skin barrier. Other than that, it's just grappler wars out there. They're just thrashing each other for more pumpy power. A cop looked at me funny and made my dealer shoot my camp. I don't know what that means. I love cops and motorcycle cops are on a different level. You have to understand the nature of a cop. It's about paperwork, order, and enforcement, and they're not good or bad. They just are. In general, they're better than the average man as far as like responsibility, logos, adherence to right and wrong. They're better than the average pumpy employee at, your local disco pump bar. All the places that are now closed that everyone's crying over. By the way, any of these closures, it's just a suggestion. Those politicians don't have any authority over you. But weigh out what it would mean for your business. Sometimes following along is the best thing you can do for your business. Or maybe reevaluate what your business is. How much debt are you in? Are you really valuable? Can you start a local situation, like speakeasy situation of whatever you do? You know, go to the people you've been good for. Say, hey, do you need a plumber? You need a carpenter? Do you need someone to transport something for you? Like, what do you need? That's how you survive this. And it's not only is it not bad, it's the best thing that ever happened to you. And I know a lot of people are stressed, and I won't apologize for how happy I am. All right. It's a great time to get in shape and healthy. No time like the present. Want to know what's really bad for you? Stress and despair. It causes cancer and heart failure. It's the killer. I suspect a lot of this is to wipe out some of the old people, which my heart goes out to them. But again, I can't feel their pain. Empathy is not a time for empathy, and I'm an empath, big time. Learn to be good to your kids. Maybe the boomer, guys, I'm not being cruel, I promise you. It's the only way through this. My mom has an open invitation to live with me at any time. Because she was a good mom. If people pissed off everyone and threw everyone on the bus for money and go to Rolling Stone tickets and doobies and blowjobs and Buicks, well, there's no one left to take care of them because the state was never their buddy to begin with. And when they ruin their children's lives for their disco, pumpy, they're not gonna have anybody. And it's like, of course I see the old woman with nowhere to go and my heart wants to explode. But this is not the time for that. You have to see it as a purge. Because what was that old woman doing this whole time? You know, you can drum up, just like abortion. Oh, a raped 12-year-old by her brother and she doesn't want to carry the baby. You can drum up a whole narrative for any of this shit, but the reality is, if you don't have a family by now, even if it's just like neighbors or people in your bridge club. Guys, I've invited so many people to crash here if they need to. Some people I don't even know that well just because they were good to me. It's like, how do people not have anyone in their life? Like, how evil do you have to be?
Go ahead, man. I got
to
it.
People?
I can help you move faster.
You know? No stress, no thing. Great, my mom is doing wonderfully. And I'm not putting it on people. I'm not like, oh, it's your fault you're poor. Of course I'm not. You can be poor in fiat currency and wealthy in logos and love and food and all that. Half my friends are like that. All right, my mom literally said that. They're trying to get rid of old people, but not us. Yeah, they can't pay their social securities. They can't pay out. They're too in debt. It really is a boomer flu, I think. I don't take pride in it. I just won't allow myself to have that female empathy that waves over you. Where you're like, oh, the old woman who just... You can create a narrative anywhere you want. Don't. You have to be masculine in these times and say, time to learn. Reach out to people you can help, but other than that, it's like, lessons have to be learned. Like, for example, this is a good thing that's coming from all of this. Pope Francis urges priests to refrain from molesting children over coronavirus fears. You see, I bet you didn't see that coming. All this time, we're just trying to get the priests to not diddle these kids. And it took the coronavirus to make them scared enough to not rape their parishioners. You know, because when there's broken families and there's kids out there, and, you know, the priests usually, you know, they go after that. But now, because of corona fear, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Agreed on elderly front statistics to them. It's all very interesting. I have a feeling that Bill Gates hates black people. I'm guessing it has to do with something his wife has done. First Ebola patient with COVID-19. I think that guy might have banged Gates' wife. Look at that guy. I bet he's got a hammer on him and Gates knows it. Gates gave him Ebola and COVID-19 just to teach him a lesson. You stay away from Bill Gates' male wife. All right. LA around the corner. OMG. Satire is hard to separate now. No, I'll show you an example. No, I am a truth teller. The news lies to you. This is a bear wrote me this. The Rona special with Eddie Bravo and Sam Tripoli, King and the Sting with Theo Von and Brendan Schwab. I used to think you were joking about the sodomite thing. In this episode, around 30 minutes in, they go on about how much they love butt sex. Best, Marie. Yes. Satire is truth. what they claim to be truth is satire. Leftist fitness, Shylock Holmes, vegan bow hunter. Guys, I was telling you the truth the whole time. Look where the medicine is coming from. You know the medicine, something that's definitely poison. It's coming from Watson Laboratories in Corona, California. But the thing that makes Corona, California so magical is a cure for a lot of disease comes out of there. It's called turpentine. Oh, how dare you! As you can see, Ellen DeGenerate is, there's not enough scissoring in the world to help her out. Oh, and shout out to, at RAEVERMEER, Harmony Bear. Read my letter about how goats are drawn to good vibrations as his goats were literally climbing all over him. The timing of that could not have been better. Life is so good. Plus, he complimented my handwriting, which is in my book, the highest compliment. So thank you, Owen. Keep crushing. If you want to follow me, it's Owen_comedy. It's like my 5th one because I crush. All these mainstream comedians are vile pieces of trash. Yes, and now Eddie Duff is a bear, though. Well, that doesn't justify sodomy, now does it, Bear Grylls? Eddie should keep his penis away from an anus. All right. Anyway, yeah, yesterday I was reading a letter about goats climbing on really peaceful people that could potentially, you know, I would be a kind and just king. I'm just throwing that out there. As a goat was climbing on my back and people were spiraling, they're like, dude, goosebumps, what is this? I'm like, dude, this happens to me all the time now. St. Kobe buried there? I know. All the narratives, the narrative. Weave. What a terrible web we weave when we practice to deceive. Willie Shakespeare, who was Caucasian. Sorry, but not sorry, Chronicles of Judah 144. Shakespeare was white. All right. What a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. Billy Shakes, 500 years ago. None of this is new. What a tangle, you guys. Just think about it. All right, now let's laugh at some stuff. We have a front lines report, and we also have the passion of the bike thief. This is what I suggest to you bike thieves in the cities. Georgie, none of that, please. I know I relate a lot to the bike thieves right now because Hollywood is now crumbling before my eyes. I resented them, and I'm trying to not gloat and point and say, starve, motherfucker, starve. I know that isn't Christian. The bike thief in the city now has a real opportunity to start haymaking the grabbler. Although what I'm about to show you is very funny, I really hope the bike thief in the city doesn't get drunk on their power, because they've been oppressed now in the city for a long time. Not by white people, by a small group of grabblers. And they know it, and now they don't have to obey any rules anymore, and they also know that. Lock up your bikes, because these guys are on a roll, but this dude is funny as F. Watch this. The Revenge of the Bike Thief. Oh, what's he gonna do? Oh, he's gonna make sure he doesn't get coronavirus. Gotta make sure he doesn't get coronavirus. And he's off. We're gonna watch it again because it's always funnier for me the second time. I don't know if anyone else has mild forms of Asperger's syndrome. Here he comes. Making sure he doesn't get coronavirus. For those of you just listening, he's about to jump a turnstile. And he's out. Yeah, the system is breaking down. That which was hidden is being revealed. He who is first will later be last. So just don't get drunk on it, though, or else you just become the grabbler. That's what the Jew did. How does it look for them these days? Not very good. But, you know, have sympathy. You know? Like, keep your logos. The only thing I want to do that seems very illegal is grow cocaine. I don't want to make cocaine. I want to chew on cocoa leaves. That's like the only thing that now that laws don't seem to really matter. Like the one thing that I've been like holding back on is growing cocaine. I'm not going to. I still am trying to deal with Caesar's laws. Oh, he wants to make cocaine? No, I don't want to make that white powder garbage. I want to casually chew on the coca leaf so I get a little peppy. I've always wanted to grow cocaine, not make coca leaves. You know, everybody's always trying to be like, oh, grow weed. I don't need to I don't want that in my life. I want to casually make cocaine tea and get pretty hyper. Not hyper, but just focused. Not with all the shit in it either. Coca is very spiritual. Yeah, I know that. I know I should be able to grow coca leaves. I know that it seems very illegal. I don't want to go to... Dude, obey God's law. Deal with Caesar's law. Weigh it out. Get your lines in the sand. What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? I'm not going to jail because I want to grow cocaine. But I want to try opium. No, but see, I don't want that. I don't want the lazy river of like, whoa, man. I want a little extra kick when I'm building a fence. Coca leaves are good for medicine. Oh, I get it. Everything bad about cocaine is in the additives and in the processing of it. Low-key, everyone wants to grow a little coke. Everybody. Cocaine is made with gasoline. I'm not... Bear Grylls, you're gonna... No, I'm not gonna time you out for that. That was valuable information. Could be addictive. You're in a timeout. You're in a timeout. You're in a timeout for being dumb, Jersey Bear. Think about it. You think drinking coca tea is addictive? You're a retard. All right. Now let's check in on Cali Bear from the front lines. He's got a very, very valuable report.
Big Bear,
Yes,
Cali Bear here, reporting from the front lines, Los Angeles, California.
Whoa.
I've managed to escape and try and quarantine myself here in Malibu with my Berkey water in my water bottle. But what I'm witnessing is true horror.
Whoa.
There are people everywhere,
How dare you.
clearly ignoring the government's rules about safe social distancing,
How dare you.
touching dogs. I mean, it's just an atrocity what
double.
I'm witnessing out here. It's as if I'm just amongst a land of zombie corona deniers.
Yep.
And how are we supposed to be corona if we're not afraid? I'm doing my best to stay safe. Hopefully things are better where you are.
How double
I'll check
dog?
back.
How double dog dare you, Cali Bear? But see, that's the thing. The government can't tell you to do anything. It's all about weighing it. If the government says close your business, that doesn't mean anything. That's just a pedophile in a suit at a news conference. But understand the ramifications and what laws, like what is your hill to die on. Think of it way ahead of time. This is an economic war. Right now, it's an economic war. I'm not affected by it because I've realized money was a scam a long time ago. But I'm just letting you know, you don't have to close your business. So it might be smartest to do that. It might be smartest to figure out how to work from home, how to work without a brick and mortar situation, how to just work with trusted people you know in your phone book, that type of stuff. You know? 6 feet apart or 6 million will die. Thank you, Kung Fu Bear. All right. Protect your bunghole and gamma. Yeah. My God, the horror. Yeah. I'm telling you, there's two worlds existing simultaneously.
Enemy vehicles.
It's not a zero-sum game. Don't make people think that you have to panic and shit and be like, if we don't wake up the sheeple, everyone's gonna get boned in their butt. Factually incorrect. There will be grabbles happening that will steer more people everybody has the ability of getting out of this. Steering them more towards darkness, then there's people steering more towards light. The reason that a lot of bears are having such a good time is because we've been quarantined before, because of our views, because of our spiritual beliefs, or because of the fact we wouldn't comply to political correctness, that we wouldn't comply to sodomy is great situations. We've experienced this already many times. This is not new for a lot of people here. That's why we're like, this is great. We're not rubbing it in your face, and we don't want everything to overthrow. We don't want your business to close. I promise you, that's not why we're having so much fun. We've been in quarantine for years. I've been in quarantine for years. I couldn't bank. They took my entire business. Dude, I know what you're going through more than most. Trust me. They took my entire business. All of it. I had a baby and I was in a bunch of debt. And it didn't let up for years. I clawed out with the help of all you guys, because when you hold the line and when you know God, obey God's law, deal with Caesar's law, people will find you and they will help you. They will send supplies to the front line. They will encourage you. They will send you biblical scripture. They will tell you to keep going. They will tell you you inspired them. They will keep you alive. Just know that. You don't need to fight people. The cop is not your enemy. The banker is not your enemy. Even the Jew is not your enemy. That's just a grabbler. That's someone whose dick has been so clipped, and I mean, they're just trying to get through the day. Oh. I was molded by it. Yeah. You are adapting to darkness. I was born in it. Keep the faith. God will make a way. Fact, it already is. At no point is God not giving you a way. At no point. It's not like you don't have to wait for Q to save you. Q-tarded. Dude, when I was about to scream, I get, dude, Q-tards are so annoying. And that's coming from a guy who thinks that there's definitely elements of Q that is true. I'm going to start banning people for life who say stuff like, Q said, do not be afraid. Yeah, Jesus Christ said it hundreds of times first. If you needed Q to tell you to not be afraid, if that affects you at all, you have a golden calf. And you're going to be thrown out of our village into the tundra. And you, hopefully, you either freeze to death or you realize Q is not your savior. Oh, I thought you said you like Q. I find Q interesting, and I think that some of it may actually be true. But so why? Because if you say, Q said not to be afraid, that means we shouldn't. Someone already said not to be afraid, you stupid motherfucker. And if Q is bigger to you than Jesus Christ, you're not really being very Christian, because you're breaking commandment number 1. I'm a bit Q-tarded. We're all a bit Q-tarded. I'm a little bit Q-tarded myself. But never let me hear out of your fucking mouth, Q said not to be afraid. Q said it's a spiritual battle. Oh, really? Really? You need to be told that by a fucking message board? Sorry, I gotta stop swearing so much. I gotta get myself under control. Alright. Q could fail, Christ will always be there for you. Exactly. Exactly. Q's a message board. Some valuable info in there, and some things are kind of panning out. You know what I'm saying? The Grabbler seems on the run. Or the Grabbler's getting more power, depending on what position you put yourself in. You know, if you are suckling on, and let me give you a quick explanation of Satanism, because a lot of you guys don't. Hundreds of times first, Q could be the last gravel. Interesting, Kung Fu Bear. Let me tell you about how Satanism thinks, like what Satanism is. Satanists will lie to you, and if you believe it, they believe it's your fault, and everything they do to you is your fault, and they're right. Because if you believe the lies of a man over the word of God, you belong to the Satanists. And they will fuck you, and they will make you suck them. Sorry, I'm just trying to make it funny. They will suck you dry, your blood, your essence, your soul, all of it. You're owned by them. Like right now, they have no jurisdiction to tell you to close your business. None. If you close your business and go out of business because you're following what they say, they feel you deserve it. They face zero karmic consequence. It's just like the Holocaust, just like saying N-word, just like saying boys are girls and girls are boys, abortion's freedom, marriage is hell, all that. If you believe them, it shows that you don't believe God. This is all a test. That's why Satan is allowed to roam this earth. God could end Satan anytime he wants. Satan is allowed here. Because it's always a test. Do you believe the words of liars? The media. You already know the media lies. You went through Russia collusion. You went through all this stuff. Are you going to believe them over God? Are you going to be afraid because of the media? You failed. And now, pay the Grabbler. And the Grabbler will feast. The Grabbler will eat you. And you deserve it. It's a misdemeanor, and who's gonna bust it? Dude, they have no authority. I'm not saying to disregard law. I'm not saying to, I'm letting you know that if you are like, okay, they're gonna kick you. I know a dude who couldn't pay his mortgage, right? So he stayed in the house for 9 years. What could the bank couldn't do anything. They don't have the authority. You guys got to understand how deep this thing goes. I'm not one of those guys. I pay my taxes, I pay my mortgage, all that shit. I'm just letting you guys know what authority really means and how much your compliance has to do with all the shit. I'm not telling you, I'm paying my mortgage, I'm paying my taxes, because those complications and those dramas would only come from me loving money in a sense. Because why would I use any of my energy for that shit? But if you were in a situation where the lies of madmen, where they say, oh, you can't have a business, and you go, okay, that's on you. George Bush didn't kill anybody in Iraq. Nobody. George Bush killed no one. You can blame him all you want. Oh, he tricked me. Oh, my precious pornos. They believe that if you follow their lies, it's on you. And they're fucking right.
Let's roll.
Why do you think I don't comply to all this shit? Oh, don't make fun of the Holocaust. Do you question? Do you deny? Yes, I do question a lot of the elements of the Holocaust. I think it's a giant spell. Oh, well, you're not allowed in Dennis Prager's house anymore. Good. He's a fucking weirdo. He always has drool coming out of his mouth.
There's a whole bunch of them.
If your sheriff would arrest you for working or worshiping together, vote better. Or just realize they won't. Of course they won't. That's absurd. I'm trying to support local mom and pops. Yes, exactly. That's true. I know a guy that never paid for a commercial building for over 7 years. Yeah, they don't have any power. UB gets it. Real wealth lives with family, relationships, and following Jesus Christ. Dude, that's the whole thing. And it's so obvious when you're trying to trick God. When you're trying to negotiate with God and being like, well, I mean, I believe this part, not that part. It's so obvious. I know a guy who stayed in a house after it was foreclosed for 9 fucking years. You know, it wasn't a good time for him. You know, then you're in a different world. Then you're in the world. Life becomes much harder. Much harder. Because, you know, it's just, there's more chaos. But I'm just letting you know that when people are like, they're going to make me, they can't make you do shit. Not shit. They make me pump the anus. No, they don't. You're the one with the boner. You're the one with the boner. No one made you get that boner.
We're losing soldiers.
No difference between Charlie Manson allegedly and the last 5 presidents. Oh, Charlie Manson was much more moral. Much more moral. I felt awful launching cruise missiles into Iraq or whatever it was. Dude, there's a chance he shot nothing. You don't know. And oh, how dare you? Dude, you don't know. You only know what you can see, hear, touch, smell, taste. It's a world of a lot of illusion, dude. They're trying to make you listen to anything except for God. And then they feel that it's your fault. Sheriffs aren't arresting low. I know high level people and almost... Who do you think you're fucking talking to, guys? I have a bear community of like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Many of them are strong males because they're gravitated towards somebody that isn't a pussy. Nobody's gotten an order for camps. No one's gotten an order for any of this shit. National Guard may be deployed soon, yes. No one knows shit. No, and none of them are going to enforce anything. None of them are taking your guns. None of them this is an economic weapon, in my opinion. But in my opinion, it's all good. But I know that can be jarring for people to hear because they're like, how dare you? I don't get my fucking precious money this month. Yeah, money's invented by grabblers. The next round will be too, and I'll use it. I'll use the next round. You know, someone's like, oh, what if it's backed by crypto? Isn't that, you know, we used to, I'm like, dude, right now our money's backed by oil and death. I still use it. I don't love it. I will not be manipulated by it. But yeah, I think the next round will be more nonsense. You know, they'll probably, they're going to issue more bills. It's probably just going to be a different contract, probably more crypto, global bullshit. It's not a hill I die on. Or else I wouldn't be able to use money right now. I was replying to some other dude talking about some, oh, okay, I don't know.
I'm at the point.
Rand Paul apparently now has corona. Okay. Show me one death and I'll believe it. Show me someone that was perfectly healthy that died from coronavirus. Since this started, I'll show you people that died of heart attacks, suicide, fentanyl. It's ridiculous. Could exist out there. From my humble sleuthing, I haven't seen one, and people are like, someone tested positive. Yeah, Magic Johnson tested positive for AIDS. AIDS was poppers. AIDS was a bunch of homos who fucked themselves to death in little bathhouses, and then a bunch got killed by AZT. Do you guys know the AIDS story? It's fascinating. Oh, Magic Johnson tested positive for AIDS. Oh no. Yeah, he's now a fat bike thief on a fucking billionaire on a fucking beach, just getting more anuses. How'd that turn out? You dying? Magic Johnson tested positive. Do you not learn anything? Does no one learn? All these quote-unquote truthers are just spiraling right now. They're just like, oh man, they're gonna. I'm like, you're the same motherfucker that told me George W. Bush didn't kill anybody. They tricked everybody. So now you're being tricked and you don't even see it. Which means I don't think you ever learned your lesson. I think you want clicks and money and blowjobs, don't you, Alex? Oh, sorry. I mean, whoever we're talking about.
Let's get out of here.
It's like, do you not learn your lesson? Your quarantine is self-inflicted. I've been in quarantine for years. I love it. I recommend quarantine. I think it's great. BB, my wife's grandmother just died. She went to hospital for pneumonia, and they wouldn't let anyone see her died alone. Right, they'll probably call it corona. It's pretty tragic in a sense, but I'm not going to let myself feel that. Because that's what's happening. It's all these homos that were pumpy, the anus. And then they were like, oh no, I'm dying. Yeah, you're dying because you were up for 3 straight days getting plowed in a San Francisco bathhouse. And now you'll believe anything because you're so detached from God and reality that you'll pump AZT in you, which is usually associated with chemotherapy, that literally causes kidney failure. Everything shuts down. You get fucking lesions on your face and your hair falls out because it was literally associated with, it was too dangerous for cancer patients. But yet all these fucking retarded homos, oh, how could they have known? Don't be a homo pumping in bathhouses. You don't get God's protection if you don't follow the law. And now it's the same shit. My nose is running, so I'll destroy my family's income. Oh no! Oh no! Would you like to see madness? This is Maria Shriver. Watch this. Yeah, and I'm gonna do that. I know that I can sound cold. I know. I take my wife's counsel to heart. But you have to understand there's no way out. If I'm just like, oh, you must be sad and cold. Oh. When you see the opportunity that this era is of waking you the fuck up to what really matters, who has control over you, who to pray to, you know, the role of the masculine versus the feminized God, this feminine God of shit. It's like everyone needs to think to feel comfortable. Oh, I have a sniffle. Everybody dies. Dude, it's how women act. If one's sick, they all leave. Oh, Tina's upset. We all have to go home. Dude, it's fucking feminized. And I won't sit back and say, oh, are you scared? I'm not scared. And this isn't a reaction. This isn't me overcompensating. I'm not. And I'm not even mad at people not seeing it. I get it. I'm not a virologist. I don't know what any of this shit even is. I just know the numbers. I know what the great Joseph Stalin once said. One death is a tragedy, a million is a statistic. They're telling you straight up, don't trust numbers, trust names. That's why the Vietnam War wall is so powerful. Names of death. Names. Look at that shit. That's what tragedy looks like. The Vietnam War. Look at it. Look at the names of the dead. Show me the names of the dead corona. None. The names of the dead will come when people believe lies. And that's a test, and you fucking deserve it if you fall for it. Do you believe God? Do you believe God or do you believe the liar? Do you believe the grabber, the media, the politician, the banker, the sodomite? Do you believe what they're telling you? Bill Gates. Oh. You have to be shown who the liar is, and then if you take them over God, you're fucked. It's communist propaganda. All right, whatever. All right, so this is the heart of madness.
St. Patrick's Day flowers, they're all green. You see that they're all green? My friend Eric, who makes the most beautiful flowers, it put a smile on my face. My St. Patrick's Day flowers, they're all green. Do you see that they're all green?
That's a crazy person. And she may be joking. It doesn't matter. Look at her fucking eyes. I'm a professional comedian. That ain't a good joke. They're not green. I know. It's because I'm willing it into reality. Look at that ghoul. Let's watch that again. This is what madness looks like. This is what you get. This is like a secular queen of this realm. She's shit. She is shit. She's probably just eating toilet paper and crying.
St. Patrick's Day flowers, they're all green. Do you see that they're all green? My friend Eric, who makes the most beautiful flowers, it put a smile on my face. My St. Patrick's Day flowers, they're all green. Do you see that they're all green?
I think she thinks they're green. My father, who's a liar, who is, my dad, who is a liar, who is spiraling right now. Like, no one's more scared than my homosexual, deviant father, dad. Sorry, I'm breaking that habit. He would will things into reality like that. He would be like, he would change the time. Like right now, I'd say, oh, it's 6 p.m., Owen, you have to come home. I'm like, it's 11 a.m. It's like, it's 6. Oh, no. And then, like, these people have lied so much in their life, they do not know what the truth is anymore. I bet people don't believe it. Some people are too good to even understand what evil is. They don't understand that there's a level of crazy and evil where that bitch thinks those are green. Because she's been lying about everything her whole life. There is no rock. She's not standing on anything. That was my dad. Hi, is that like a secret message? No! Guys. I get it. This is my burden. I get it. I'm rolling with the punches. People are overthinking these people. They're like, that must be a message. No, you're thinking in terms of reality. That bitch, my dad is just he's a full professor, PhD from Northwestern, keynote speaker at Tokyo in Germany. My dad is a brilliant fucking worship full professor. He's walking around going, it's different. Like they don't know what reality is anymore. It's whatever they will. Do as thou wilt. That bitch thinks she just got green flowers. And people are like, oh, it must be a hidden Picture them as literal zombies. They don't fucking exist, really. And as a Christian, I know they can all be saved. And I don't call them NPCs. But they're real close to abyss. I pray for my dad. I hope my dad at least starts his path back. Just starts. Because I know the pain that's going to come in death when that's all burning off you. Burn. You know? They're building their whole reality on... They already did, and now it's crumbling. You're watching it crumble. Inconceivable. The demons stopped bleeding them? Right, well, because they all believed that they were God. So in that bitch's mind, those are green flowers. Why not? She's the creator. Isn't she the creator of this realm? Doesn't her will create? No. Your will doesn't create fucking anything. When you follow the will of the Most High, you see shit all over the place. Life becomes extremely beautiful. Synchronicities everywhere. Beauty everywhere. Life everywhere. Fact. And when you don't, it's like crazy. And so many good people don't see through it, where I do get a little frustrated, but I understand. It's a slow process. I'm still on that process, trying to figure shit out. But it's like people that are like, oh, it must be a sign. It must be a secret code. Guys, these people are desperately trying to wipe their anuses. They're just in their houses like, dude, I was raised with it. My dad wasn't a celebrity, but he was a worshipped academia guy. He turned on me when this all happened. He publicly was like saying that I was an embarrassment. And now he can't even get dressed. I'm taking no joy in this. My mom's crushing. My mom's like, I don't see why people are scared. I'm like, because you're still in God's light. We're going to watch again. We're going to watch Shriver. What I want to do right now is beat the Q-tard out of people. I'm not saying Q's bad. I'm not saying Q doesn't say true things. I'm not saying that it isn't a great story and a valuable message board. Stop thinking everything is an elite sign to each other. They're not fucking smart, guys. They're a mess. They don't know reality. They literally, if it suits them to think this is a gun, that's a gun. And then you'll see them and you're like, oh, it must be. No, it doesn't, guys. This bitch thinks those are green flowers.
St. Patrick's Day flowers, they're all green. Do you see that they're all green? My friend Eric, who makes the most beautiful flowers, it put a smile on my face. My St. Patrick's Day flowers, they're all green. Do you see that they're all green?
Like Kung Fu Bear has several members of his family that were Hollywood elite. He'll tell you. It's like they're not doing well. I don't buy into adrenochrome, and I will not apologize for that. It doesn't make any sense to me. That being said, I buy into it metaphorically. I think that they have been sucking on the fears and pain of babies for a long time. And now, spiritually, these spiritual vampires don't have anything to eat. And they're like shriveling in the sunlight. It's all... There's definitely an element of reality to it. I think on some level of the satanic pyramid, they do start sacrificing and eating babies. Because from my Christian path, I've learned that the fractal nature of truth is it's true in every level, like spiritual, metaphorical, and literal. Like, the rise, the 12 apostles, Jesus, like all this stuff can also be tracked in the sky. It can be tracked in metaphor. It can be tracked all over the place, and it's real simultaneously. And so this thing, like, I don't know though. Maybe Alan's eating a bait. I don't know though. It doesn't, it's like they can't eat now. They're starving of like pain. They survive on pain. They survive on lies. Vampiric withdrawal. Yeah, totally. Vampires are deaf real. You just looked at one. Her name was Maria Shriver. Whether or not they actually drink actual blood, I mean, like Peter Thiel had a